social stuff and social gospel, social justice. We'll mix some of these things in. I'm thinking about the book of Romans. Slavery in Romans, lust in Romans, immorality in Romans, and it's blatantly obvious that there's no social justice in Romans, and Paul could have given in this manifesto all this information about how to redeem culture, and yet in 16 chapters, there's nothing. What's your take on that?
Well, I agree with you. In chapter 12, you have you be transformed as a Christian. Not you're going to transform some external kind of entity, culture, society, so I'm with you. I would chime right in and say, what about 1 Corinthians? And all the things that would have been going on in Corinth, and what does Paul say? I determined to know, I resolved to know nothing among you except Jesus Christ and Him crucified. There are all those other needs, but he preached Christ to them. So that's what I would say. I think we're very confused. Maybe one more thing about that, Mike, is I'm wondering if we're feeling so guilty for not loving our neighbors, which is something we're supposed to do. Okay, that's something we're supposed to do as individuals out of gratitude to God. We're supposed to love our neighbors, and so you can do that, and I can do that, and we're feeling so guilty for not doing it. Now we want to harness the church to do what we're supposed to do, so we don't feel so guilty. Well, what's the church called to do? The church is called to preach the gospel. As a member of the church, I'm called to preach the gospel, but I'm also called to love my neighbor. And so we're getting the two confused. How about this? I read somebody recently, and they said, well, there are all kinds of needs. Why doesn't the church have an ambulance service? Health care is overpriced, and it's so expensive. There are people who can't afford it. The church should have an ambulance service. Well, where does that end? There's so many good things to do and so many needs. But the church is called to be about one thing, preaching Christ. So that's what we do, and we let those other things be done by others who can do them. And sometimes those others are us, in a different kind of sphere, a different kind of realm. You should love your neighbor. If you want to start an ambulance service, start one. But don't make the church start one. It's not what we're called to be or do. I listened to a sermon in Omaha last week, or a couple weeks ago, and they went on and on about this tragic sex trafficking of young girls, even in Omaha, Nebraska. I felt bad, I felt emotional, I thought this is awful. Somebody should, do something. And then the pastor calls the church to be all about this. This is like our new mission, our new ministry, our new thing that we're all about. And I'm thinking, we're going to now burn the church out on more good things that we're supposed to be doing as individuals. And that's not what the church is called to do. So, anyway.